The truth about creatine, after 50, is not what you think. What if I told you the truth about creatine after 50 is completely different from what most people believe? It's not the miracle shortcut that instantly transforms your body overnight, but it's also not something you need to fear or avoid. Somewhere along the way, creatine got pushed into two extreme narratives. Either it's the ultimate muscle-building secret, or it's risky, unnecessary, and only for younger athletes. And honestly, both of those views miss the bigger picture. The reality is much more balanced, and once you understand it, everything starts to click. After 50, your body naturally begins to lose muscle mass, strength, and even energy levels. That's just part of aging. Creatine doesn't magically stop aging, but it can support your body in ways that are actually practical and noticeable, especially when combined with regular movement and a decent diet. At the same time, it's not something you should blindly take without understanding how it works or what to expect. Some people go in with unrealistic expectations, hoping for fast results, then feel disappointed when it doesn't deliver instant changes. Others avoid it completely because of outdated myths or misunderstandings. The truth is, creatine is simply a tool. When used correctly, it can help support strength, energy, and even daily performance. But it works best when you see it for what it really is. Not magic, not dangerous, just useful when you know how to use it the right way. So today, we're talking about the real truth about creatine after 50 and why it's not what you think. If you're over 50 or planning ahead, this might change how you approach your fitness completely. But before we begin, drop your name and the city you're watching from in the comments below. Alright, let's get started. Number 1, it's not too late, but it's not a shortcut either. Let's clear something up right away. Creatine can absolutely help after 50. It's not too late to start, and your body is still fully capable of benefiting from it. In fact, this is the stage of life where support for muscle, strength, energy, and recovery becomes even more valuable. As natural muscle loss begins to accelerate with age, having something that helps you maintain performance can make a real difference in how you feel day to day. But here's where most people get it wrong. It's not a shortcut. Creatine won't rebuild years of lost muscle overnight, and it won't suddenly transform your body without any effort from you. That's not how it works. Instead, it acts more like a support system working quietly in the background, helping your muscles perform better during the work you're already putting in. Think of it this way. If you're staying active, doing resistance training, or even just trying to move more consistently, creatine can help you get a little more out of each session. Maybe it's an extra rep, a bit more strength, or slightly better recovery. Over time, those small improvements add up, and that's where the real results come from. On the other hand, if you're expecting it to do all the work for you, you'll likely end up disappointed. Creatine doesn't replace discipline, consistency, or smart training. It enhances them. So the real takeaway is simple. Creatine works with your effort, not instead of it. When you combine it with regular movement, proper nutrition, and patience, it becomes a useful tool that supports your progress. Not instantly, not magically, but steadily, and in a way that actually lasts. Number 2, your body is changing, and that matters. As you get older, your body naturally starts to change in ways that are hard to ignore. Muscle mass gradually declines, strength isn't what it used to be, and even simple workouts can feel more demanding than before. This process is completely normal, but that doesn't mean you can't do anything about it. Along with that, your energy levels may not stay as consistent throughout the day, and recovery after exercise often takes longer than it did in your younger years. What used to feel like a quick bounce back can now take a couple of days, sometimes even more. This is exactly where creatine can play a helpful role. It works by supporting your body's ability to produce quick energy during short bursts of activity, which can make a noticeable difference when you're exercising or staying active. You might feel a bit stronger, slightly more capable during workouts, or less drained afterward. Over time, that added support can help you maintain muscle and stay consistent with your routine, which is really the key to long-term progress. However, it's important to stay realistic. Creatine isn't going to completely reverse the natural aging process. It won't suddenly bring your body back to how it felt decades ago, and it won't eliminate fatigue or slow recovery entirely. Expecting that kind of result is where a lot of people get frustrated. Instead, think of creatine as something that helps you manage these changes better. It gives you a small but meaningful edge, enough to support your efforts and help you keep moving forward. When combined with regular exercise, proper nutrition, and good rest, it can make a noticeable difference in how you feel and perform. Not by turning back time, but by helping you make the most of where you are right now. Number 3. The energy boost is real. Now here's something a lot of people don't expect. Creatine doesn't just sit in the background doing nothing. You can actually feel the difference, especially during your workouts. It may not hit you like a sudden burst of energy, but over time, you'll likely notice something subtle yet powerful. You feel more capable. Exercises that once felt exhausting might start to feel a bit more manageable, and that alone can change how you approach your routine. You might find that you can push a little harder during each set. Maybe you squeeze out 1 or 2 extra reps, or you don't feel as drained halfway through your workout. In some cases, you might even notice that your endurance improves slightly, allowing you to last just a bit longer without feeling completely worn out. These aren't massive, dramatic changes, but they are real, and they matter more than people think. Because here's the truth. Progress doesn't come from huge leaps. It comes from small, consistent improvements repeated over time. That extra rep, that slight increase in effort, that tiny boost in endurance, those are the things that slowly build strength and maintain muscle, especially after 50. And this is where creatine really shines. It gives you just enough support to keep showing up and performing at a slightly higher level than you would without it. Over weeks and months, those small advantages begin to stack up. What started as a minor boost can turn into noticeable progress in strength, stability, and overall confidence in your body. So while it may seem like a small benefit at first, don't underestimate it. That extra push, that added bit of stamina, it can be the difference between staying stuck and steadily improving over time. Number 4, the weight gain that confuses everyone. You might step on the scale a few days or weeks after starting creatine and notice that your weight has gone up. And if your goal is to stay lean, lose fat, or simply maintain your current weight, that number can feel frustrating. It's easy to assume something is going wrong, or that creatine is somehow causing unwanted fat gain. But that's not actually what's happening. What you're seeing on the scale is mostly water weight, not body fat. Creatine works by helping your muscles store more energy, and part of that process involves drawing more water into your muscle cells. This is actually a good thing. It helps your muscles function better, supports performance, and can even give your muscles a slightly fuller, stronger appearance. The problem is, the scale doesn't tell you what kind of weight you've gained, it just shows a number. So, when that number increases, it can create unnecessary concern, especially if you're focused on staying lean. But gaining a bit of water inside your muscles is very different from gaining fat. In fact, this kind of weight gain is often a sign that the creatine is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. This is why it's important not to rely only on the scale to judge your progress. Pay attention to how you feel, how you perform, and how your body looks over time. Are you getting stronger? Do your workouts feel more productive? Are you maintaining or even improving muscle tone? Those are much better indicators of progress. So yes, the number on the scale might go up, but that doesn't mean you're moving backward. In many cases, it actually means you're giving your muscles the support they need to perform and improve. Number 5. Hydration becomes more important. When you start taking creatine, one of the key things happening inside your body is increased water retention within your muscles. That's part of how creatine helps improve performance and support strength, but it also means your body's demand for fluids goes up. And if you don't adjust your hydration habits, you might start to notice some unwanted side effects. You could feel more tired than usual, even if your workouts aren't that intense. Some people describe a slight heaviness, occasional muscle tightness, or just a general drop in energy that doesn't quite make sense at first. It's easy to blame creatine itself, but in many cases, the real issue is simply not drinking enough water to support what's happening in your body. This becomes even more important after 50. As you age, your sense of thirst may not be as strong or reliable as it used to be, which makes it easier to become slightly dehydrated without realizing it. On top of that, recovery already takes longer, and energy levels can fluctuate more. So when you add creatine into the mix, proper hydration isn't just helpful, it becomes essential. Think of it this way. Creatine is doing its job by pulling water into your muscles, but it relies on you to supply that water consistently. If you don't, your body has to work harder to maintain balance, and that's when you start to feel off. The good news is, this is an easy fix by simply making a conscious effort to drink more water throughout the day, especially around your workouts. You can support creatine's benefits and avoid those uncomfortable feelings. It's a small habit, but it makes a big difference in how you feel and perform. Number 6. The biggest mistake people make. Here's the mistake that holds most people back. They start taking creatine and assume that alone will be enough to see real changes. No adjustments to their workouts, no real consistency, no structured routine, just the supplement. Then, after a few weeks, they feel disappointed when nothing significant happens. It's a common pattern, and honestly, it sets a lot of people up for frustration from the start. Creatine isn't designed to work in isolation. It's not a magic switch that suddenly builds muscle or transforms your body without effort. What it actually does is support the work you're already doing. If there's no consistent training, no challenge to your muscles, and no plan in place, there's nothing for creatine to enhance. Think of it like this. Creatine is a multiplier, not a starter. It amplifies your effort, but it can't create results out of nothing. If you're not engaging in some form of strength training, even simple basic movements, your body has no reason to build or maintain muscle. And without consistency, even the best supplement won't make a noticeable difference. This becomes even more important after 50, when maintaining muscle requires a bit more intention. You don't need extreme workouts or complicated programs, but you do need regular movement and some level of resistance to signal your body to stay strong. That's the foundation. Creatine simply helps you get more out of that foundation. So if you're taking creatine but not seeing results, it's worth looking at the bigger picture. Are you showing up consistently? Are you challenging your muscles? Even just a little? Because once those pieces are in place, creatine can actually do what it's meant to do. Support your progress in a steady, meaningful way. Number 7. Simple habits matter more than anything. A lot of people overthink creatine and turn it into something far more confusing than it needs to be. You'll hear about loading phases, cycling on and off, or taking it at very specific times, but for most people, especially after 50, none of that is necessary. What actually works is keeping things simple and sustainable. A basic daily dose of around 3 to 5 grams is more than enough to support your body. You don't need to constantly adjust it or chase higher amounts, hoping for faster results. In fact, consistency matters far more than anything else. Taking a small, steady dose every day allows your body to gradually build up and maintain the levels it needs to support strength and performance. But here's the part that really makes the difference: what you do alongside it. Adding some form of strength training just a few times a week can completely change your results. It doesn't have to be intense or complicated. Simple bodyweight exercises, resistance bands, or light weights are enough to challenge your muscles and keep them active. Combine that with staying generally active throughout the day, and you're already doing more than most people. From there, it all comes down to consistency. Not perfection, not extreme effort, just showing up regularly. That's what allows those small improvements to build over time. Creatine supports that process, helping you get a little more out of each workout and maintain your progress. So instead of chasing complex routines or quick fixes, focus on what actually works. Keep your creatine intake simple, stay active, and commit to a routine you can stick with. That's where the real, lasting results come from. Number 8. The real truth you need to hear. So here it is. Creatine after 50 isn't some kind of magic solution, and it's definitely not useless either. The truth sits right in the middle, and once you understand that, it becomes much easier to see where it actually fits into your routine. It won't suddenly transform your body or erase the natural effects of aging, but it also shouldn't be dismissed as something that doesn't matter. At its core, creatine is simply a tool. And like any tool, its effectiveness depends entirely on how you use it. If you expect it to do all the work on its own, you'll likely be disappointed. But if you pair it with the right habits, it can quietly support your progress in a way that feels steady and sustainable over time. That means staying active, adding some form of strength training into your week, and being consistent with your routine. It also means taking care of the basics, like proper hydration, decent nutrition, and giving your body enough time to recover. These are the real drivers of progress, especially after 50. Creatine just enhances what you're already doing. When everything works together, the benefits become much more noticeable. You may feel a bit stronger, a little more energized during workouts, and more capable in your daily activities. Over time, that can translate into maintaining muscle, supporting balance, and preserving overall physical independence. So, instead of looking for something extreme or complicated, focus on using creatine the right way. Keep it simple, stay consistent, and build habits you can actually maintain. That's how you turn a basic supplement into something genuinely useful. Something that helps you stay strong, active, and capable for years to come. So before you decide creatine is the answer, or think it won't help at all, ask yourself, are you using it the right way, or just expecting it to do everything for you? If this video helped you understand things more clearly, make sure to like, subscribe, and stick around for more simple fitness tips. And I'd love to hear from you. What did you believe about creatine after 50 before watching this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.